A good great morning to all of those who tuned in to the realest thing in the world, coming to you back from Guyana. So, good morning, guys, and let me just pay my morning respects. Umar, good morning. Usha, good morning. Christopher, good morning. Chandra, Rudy, Netu, good morning. Shirley, a good great morning to you. So this morning we've got some limited time because I'm just back and I need to go across to a number of my companies and find out what's going on and get up to date. I keep in touch when I'm out of country. But it's very important when you're running a business. And when I'm telling you these things, it's not to tell you what I do. I do what could consider to be extremely well for myself at present time. I tell you this for you to know what you have to do, what success looks like. If you have not been guided, if you didn't have a mother or a father to guide you, if you do not have a role model, you're going to take me, you're going to follow me from a sour mouth. You understand? And my lewd, vulgar behavior. You don't have to follow me for that. But you can follow me if you want to learn what it takes to get to the top of the food chain. What hard work and dedication means. Right? So today, I am the 5th day. I don't know even if I counting right. Today's Thursday. I might be in the 4th day. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So I might be in the 4th day. So let me get it right. Let me get this thing right. So Saturday evening to Sunday evening, Sunday evening to Monday, Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday. Also today I'm in my 5th day of fasting. Now, I was in a delegation. I was part of a delegation that the president and the private sector, the government of Guyana, accompanied by the president, or represented by the president, because the president is acting on behalf of the people of Guyana, as a representative of the government of Guyana, or as the head of the government in Guyana, being head of state, being head of the army, the armed forces. I was part of a delegation of government officials and business officials who visited the DR. And as you guys know what I do, I was there and I was, given a unique perspective, as much might not have. And when you read the stories and you see the posed pictures, you get a perspective that someone wants to give you. I give you this perspective, the reality of what happened on the ground. From what I saw, and you know when you get it from me, it's raw. Right? I can say, when I walked into the plane, I walked into the plane with my head down, because it's the kind of guy I am. I'm in my own world, I'm doing my thing. And I thought this was a plane, just a plane going to Dominica. And they got people going to Dominica. I gotta make the delegation. So when I go, I didn't realize the plane was the delegation. So I walked with my head down in the aisle. I ain't watching nobody in the face. And when I sit down, maybe 10 rows from the back of the plane, when I sat down there, I think, fit my bag, I looked to my side, I saw two people I know. I looked at this one side, I see a man knowing. I look at the back, I look down more. And I knew all these people. But I tell you how I think, and the world is there, and I put it in the context here, because me and group up, I know these people. Me and these people would lie, we talk, we'd argue, that kind of thing. But me, I had no call from nobody. Me, I don't link up with nobody. I got it specifically for me business. Right? I then had to stand up now. Go and shake one and apologize to them. Because I said, man, you know, my tunnel vision, I ain't see you. Because first people say, oh, Critic playing big bye. You walking in, talking to nobody. It's not though. As they in my own world. I got bills to pay, I got things to do. It's they in my own world. Right? All right, not Dominica. It was the Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic, yeah. Dominican Republic. DR. We call it DR because you're getting shit mixed up with Dominican Republic, yeah. DR. So let me go straight into it and give you my thoughts. This is when we were leaving for a place called Punta Cana. Beautiful resort area in the island. And this is the president boarding the plane. You know, I bring things from always from a different perspective for you guys. So this is the president and the first lady, the last people to board the plane. No, not because of the president, but I felt proud to know that me, Michael Rodriguez, called many things by many different people, better known as the Guyanese Critic, was afforded the opportunity to see the president in operation. Why? Not because of my presence being around a president, but my ability to use a unique skill that I have, my ability to assess people's genuinity. And I can tell you, with more than 100 individuals, nobody can say who was in that grouping of any kind of race, nobody can say they have had an experience that doesn't tell them that the president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana is genuine. Nobody can say that. I could tell you though. Now, the extent of my photos that I'm going to show you here, because I like candid shots. I like taking out people in the movement. And a lot of people, when they see I set up the camera, they pose, but I like taking out people as they move, right? So I'll go through some of the shots. This is when the president, you got to put it up big, put me small, let people get a real. So this is the president leaving the presidential palace, right? You know me, I take out all how. This is the president with the president of the Dominican Republic of DR. And they stood. The president at the time was waiting for the first lady to leave. He wasn't posing. He was waiting. The first lady was still in the ballroom. And the president was waiting for his wife. And I just decided to take a picture. I was in the doorway. This is in the ballroom. Right? So unfortunately, the president himself does not have photos of this nature, because at the time when this was going on, the photographers and everybody, media had to leave. I was the only individual who was playing dual roles in terms of being a media personnel, but also with the business delegation, because, you know, I am in manufacturing, I'm in construction, you know, so, and this media, and like a normal journalist, this media entity is also a business, right? So this is the president interacting with people. This was a dance and the entertainment that we had at the ballroom. And this was interesting. This was very touching to me, because this showed culture. And I was looking at these women, and they were looking intensely, while they were dancing, they were looking intensely at the male's mouth, and they were smiling. And you could realize it was intent. It looked like if they were mesmerized by the man, if they're in love, like when a woman in love. But obviously these are dances, it's not husband and wife necessarily. I don't know what was the situation. But you got a sense of pride in what they did. And as I stood there and took these photos, I think I was sitting at the time when I took these photos, I was thinking, when can we really find ourselves? How deep do we have to go? Do we have, as Guyanese, the depth that we could go and really find ourselves and find purpose in life, you know? Let me see if I got a dance. So Roche here, and you see how I sketch everybody in the move, you know? They was doing the thing and they was doing a toast, and I just taking pictures like mad. This black brother here, I met, by the way, as a contractor, is developing some of the young professional homes. And, you know, I'm glad I've had the opportunity, because a lot of times when the opposition say blacks are not having opportunities, I too try to do some soul searching and try to figure out who in my head are those persons. But there are a lot of people. But what I learned, and I'll tell you now the honest truth, is one of the problems, is when a black brother is on the up and up and he making money, most of them choose not to seek attention. This black brother, I've never came across him. I don't know him personally. But in conversing with him and talking with him, I realize that he's doing extremely well for himself, but he doesn't put himself out there. So when people are asking themselves, the other one that he might pass look like me, like he's a little red Portuguese, but he's a red nigga. He ain't no white boy. This one here, so he ain't no white boy. He so happens to be a businessman and a councillor, just got onto the council, Georgetown Main City Council as a councillor. But he ain't no white boy. But I would want to think he falls into my category of what David Hines calls the light-skinned blacks. So now then by catch yourself and you know, I was just being candid with him. This is yours truly. And all I'm going to say is 2 presidents. Nothing more needs to be said. 2 presidents. This is our commissioner of police, with commissioners of police and head of the army and so on of the Dominican Republic. This is our first lady. And we reach into the doing her part as a representative of women of Guyana. Because this is what people look at, They're looking at the first lady. They're thinking. They're looking at her actions, the way she walks, talks, everything. Right? So I just take out picture like mad. But I want to reach to this party. This is some from our business community, Purans. The guy that's backing here is the owner, the inheritor, I would say, of Germans, the Germans restaurant, and the new and modern face of the German restaurant. Yes, Clinton Orlin. And this is the Purans and another businessman I recently met. So do I have a picture? I want get them banner close up. So I come across and them guys was gaffing and I took out this picture. I conversed with Clinton for a little bit while he was having lunch at the Punta Cana. And he seemed not to know who I was and what I do. And that is obviously because he's so fixated on what he does in his business and developing his business. Proud of that. To put my perception of Clinton, simply put, I think he is the black version of Charles Ramsden Jr. His father would have had the what should be now the oldest restaurant, or what is now the oldest restaurant, the Germans restaurant, world renowned for their soup. And in speaking with him, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you. Now, Charles Ramsden, and I said it before, he's an entitled boy, right? Nothing is wrong with one in their attitude. Clinton might be more rightfully so to own that because he's a businessman. He controls his life, unlike Charles Ramsden, who is a politician and a servant to the people. That wouldn't be an attitude that we would promote. But getting back to this, I was talking to Clinton. So I said, come and do an interview, and he's the head of, or the deputy head of one of these private sector organizations. And I said, come and do an interview. And he didn't want to jump who would have been the head or the head of any other organization. I said, but no, as a young black man, it would be nice if you can speak about your successes, how you do what you do. By the way, Germans has a restaurant, and it started in the Tiger Bay area, has a restaurant in the Giftland Mall, and also has a restaurant in the city of New York. All that is headed up and at this time managed by, well, not managed, but headed up by Clinton. He has, I've been told, a number of different investments that he's in and different businesses that he is following up. Now, when I asked him, his explanation for me was, man, I don't want to come and talk about myself because it's going to seem like it's about me. And the only way you could get it, I told him, I said, it might be, you're thinking in your head, it might be a little selfish. Because how many times do we have the opportunity to look at young black men and say, yes, they've made it. Because the opposition, their work is to bring down the young black progressive man. Do you remember an opportunity, or could you remember any opportunity that President Granger's administration presented that blacks could have an open forum internationally? Do you remember any such instance? Can you remember any such instance? I would appreciate it if there was one instance that could be likened to this. Now I'm going to get down to photos to give context to what I'm talking about. So President Ali and the president of the DR went across the ballroom, and President Ali introduced every Guyanese businessman. Right? Every Guyanese businessman. And at some time, well, I'm going back to front here. How the video is there. This was more down at the end. Right? Every businessman. And I tell you, I was taking out candid photos. I just did up in people's face. Right? And I want to show you this. This is the Soot brothers. So I'm going to go through as I get it. This is the guy who was taking care of us. This is Uncle Kamal from Kojak. This is Uncle Jerry. Y'all know Jerry Gavaya, right? Everybody knows Jerry Gavaya. Roraima Airways and now presidential advisor. Well, he don't advise. He I don't know what he doing. God in heaven knows what he doing. Are we studying? But being the presidential advisor, you got that on it all the time, right? I don't know what's the program here. You got to come and explain that. This is Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce, Minister of Business, and Peter Ramsroop. Some others, I can't remember the name. So the minister was being offered a drink here at this time. And she's saying, me, she must see the camera here. Not wrong, Critic. Ramraj from Ministry of Agriculture. So let me go through. Pandit Harish. And the care Pandit Harish, not to pray for Abi if Abi need anything, if Abi need any blessing, no. Pandit Harish is also a businessman. And a successful businessman at that. Obviously with the rich blessings of Lord Shiva. Yes. So we're going down here, and I want this is where I want to get to. So the president at the time, this is one of the BM Soot brothers. The president at the time made sure that he introduced everyone from the business community, and not only introduced, explained what going on. Right? There's another one of the BM Soot brothers. No. I know who is this gentleman and where's the program. The president went to lengths to make sure everybody, I think this gentleman is from the Business Commerce of Barbies. Right? Me just there and watch. The president didn't choose. Well, there's an Indian Malay, it chooses a black Malay, everybody. Because they were in a line and the president walked with his presidential counterpart and said, here, me know what they're talking because I there back. But the president is looking, he's showing, hey, he introduced the man, showing something back, sir, explaining something. You understand? This is the first lady, the two first ladies. This gentleman here is a guy who prefer to stay behind the scenes, but I can tell you, has made considerable amount of strides as a businessman in this country. Your chicken, if you just eat chicken and you like chicken, it is highly likely that he is the man that produces your chicken. There's something to think about. And if I could just say it openly, I don't say if you're living in Barbies or you live in East Bank, I say, if you just eat chicken in Guyana, it's likely you eat the chicken that he produces. And I'm showing you how the president went to lengths to make sure. Bear in mind, President Ali, our President Irfan Ali, does talk the talk and walk the walk. Yes. So President Irfan Ali, to put things into context, DR has a population of 10 million people. But the world is looking at us because of the newfound resource we have. Normally, people like this wouldn't pay no mind to us. The president didn't go on a presidential visit with all pomp and ceremony for himself. He took everybody who he could have taken. I could have tell you. He took everybody who he could have taken. Because the plane had a seat. You understand? He only take them. He ain't going backdoor meeting and lose them. He take the other president and walk it through and introduce it to everybody. That's what he was doing there. It wasn't an Indian thing or a black thing. It was a Guyanese business thing. I can say I am proud to have witnessed it. Because me ain't got the time and patience for that. You understand? Me, I look people at face value and assess them. And assort the president unlike any other president in this country. Expresses a level of willingness, shows no unwillingness to take this country forward at all cost. Now, hear what me I say. If you carry on business delegation down country, you're gone and you do presidential thing. The president made sure he took his presidential counterpart and introduced him to every Guyanese businessman, whether they're black, they're Indian, and there was some bit of a discussion. Before the president started doing though, where one man asked how the president know all these people, and the president went and introduced everybody and explained a little bit about what they do. Now I'm telling you what I'm sensing here. I was there. You could feel the energy in the room. I'm asking you, can you remember one time in the 5 years of President Granger's tenure, can you remember one time that he would use his clout or use his position as president to move this country forward and move people in this country forward as it relates to relations with another country. Can you remember one such instance? You can't remember because no such instance exists. So let's carry on. You see how this picture? Is president explained to, I don't know what it, God in heaven knows what it's talking. I can't make up these things. Watch. I know what we tell them about the money. But I ain't, that just, it was intense. Right? So this here, let me give you a little rundown. So the guy to the left is Massey Motors, the man in charge of Massey Motors here. Second is Uncle Kamal Singh, and the founder and owner of Geico Engineering. And the third guy there is Neil from Impressions. You know, all the signs, the billboards, you go all about the place, and those signs you see. Neil has the largest company that provides that kind of service. When you go to the expos, all the expos of recent, when you went into the tunnel, the fancy design tunnel at the last building expo, this expo that you're going to see, Neil's company, Impressions, are the people who are behind that. And Neil is actually the mind behind that. I've known Neil personally for a number of years. Them lighted signs were there, you know, by Starbrook Market and all them. Neil is the guy. Someone who's been at the forefront of signs and designs and marketing in general in Guyana. So just put it into context, the couple people women know. Right? I know what's going on here. But whatever it is, I think this black sister would have been happy. I know. I can't think you could fake a smile like that. Right? So, let me run through. This young lady here is in black, is the director, or I don't know if it's one of the directors, but she gave me her card, and she's the director at West Side Mall at Lenora. Right? These are a lot of other people from the business community. This young lady here is from the Berbice Chamber of Commerce, the president of the Berbice Chamber of Commerce presently. Lots of people, right? This is just the back end, a quick back end of what was going on. And the president went at lengths to make sure everybody had an opportunity and they were heard. This is the president presenting Guyanese and saying, look, this guy does that, this guy does that. Unprecedented behavior. The only other body I see that's do them thing like that when they get in a position of power is Jagyu. When I went to India, meetings were held like mad. That one doing a meeting, that one day in a meeting, this and that. And the first day, because of the circumstances under which I went, we weren't in a group where they updating with these meetings and stuff. And you know what Jagger asked me? He said, what have you done so far? Have you concluded any meetings? And I said, no. Me and no were going there, just so. And he called the Indian High Commissioner was with us. And he said, introduce Critic to the people that were in line with his business. Not set every day. Every day. Not going shopping with big bags and study, where you could eat. When we landed in the DR, right away was visits, business meetings. President Ali went to bed 1 o'clock in the morning. Me go to bed 2 o'clock. Then the next morning we're up and moving, memorandums of understanding, signing, I think going on all the time. Now, if you as the citizenry can't see, do you see what I'm talking about? Everything might not be perfect in this country, but this country is in a place that has never been before. This is the commissioner of the police and head of the army. This is when the president arrived at the presidential palace. This is photos from one of the business meetings we had. Yeah, I get the sense that Clinton is an entitled little boy. Not to say, yes, his father did well for himself. He's now inherited that. And much respect to him for that. But I want to see brothers like him not despising the people who hustling out there. Because when he tell me, he want to talk about himself, I said, well, so you have to talk about. He wanted for us to have a discussion on behalf of some privacy. I said, me want to have no privacy thing. When I see a man like you, when I see how you progressing, and he's told me, he was able to tell me he's second generation in Germans because he's the inheritor of, and going into third generation. I felt proud talking to a man who knows where he comes from and has a projection, is fully well aware of where he's going. But what purpose does it serve us when you don't come out and show people these are new heights they too can go to? This is some photos from memorandums that were being signed. Now, I get this picture and I miss this thingy. So this picture, when I catch myself going, and there's a part of the town where they're driving through. Is the ghetto. You see when the pavement, rubbish on the pavement? Well, that big rubbish heaps behind, if you see in this truck through this window here, sir, is a rubbish heap there. Just like Georgetown. Just like Georgetown. They got parts like the in DR. When they got parts that are amazing. But I can tell you, the different parts got different people. In Guyana, you got to figure out which part you want there. So this is a video I did on the plane that I did a walkthrough. Right? Oh, look at this. Oh my All right. So, yeah. Tomorrow, I was planning to give you guys an update on what's going on with Tupui Group in terms of the construction and all. I'm thinking about we're going to do that tomorrow because we want to, the president is going to be swearing in persons from the COI. To this morning, the president swearing in individuals for the COI for the Madhya fire. The 20 students lost their lives. And I think that is the utmost important. Again, I'm on my 5th day of fasting. We'll do 7 days. I'll go up to Saturday. I think by Saturday, I'll be winding down maybe with some pear by lunchtime to dinner, protein and so on, get stuff in my system. And I'm hoping if you're following my healthy living adjustment, you're keeping it up. This morning, I want to use the opportunity to thank the people that were a part of that delegation to the Dominican Republic. Reason being, when I went there, normally I'm just a guy to myself. And contrary to people's beliefs, people feel I'm very outgoing. I like my quiet time. I'm, for the most part, an introvert. I learned some things. I learned, for the most part, Portuguese people got a certain way about them because I had another Portuguese man, their finance, and we share certain traits, openness, and it really care much how people feel about what we say. And moreover, I learned something about my Guyanese brothers and sisters. I learned a lot more about the president. And to put it into short context, is that nobody on that trip could suggest that President Irfan Ali is faking his care for Guyanese. You can't fake it, you gotta forget. You gotta forget days that you're down, you gotta forget time that you're frustrated. We all have that times. You gotta got people you don't like and you ain't gonna smile with them. President Ali only shows a willingness to lead to the best of his ability, an ability that seems that he was born with. I'm standing there and looking at that. We had an experience on the plane. Most people had an experience with President Ali on the plane. I conversing with President Ali from time to time. If I had that experience before, but most people would have never had that experience before. And on the plane, I'm sitting there and I'm watching the other Portuguese man. And I'm thinking in my mind, what he thinking when he see President Ali in action? Is he thinking Bornum wasn't a man like this? Bornum would have been a man like Kung Jufi Jaffa and everybody. If you fall in to an environment with President Ali, and you come in and nobody tell you he's the president, you don't know he's the president. He makes everybody feels at home. He treats everybody equally. You can't know. Those are experiences that I wish I could have shared with you guys to understand is what you're dealing with. to understand that President Ali is not a reactive president. I can't say for the whole government. I can't talk for the whole government, bro. There are ministers that are failing miserably. I can't talk for the whole government. I can tell you because of my personal experiences. Look, I don't be so close to Minister Indar, but I know what he does. I see how he dip on the ground running. I follow what Minister Ejil does, being a man in the church, and so he with the pump on ceremony, but yes, he's on the ground. Minister Indar all over on the ground. I can't say the same for a lot of others. But I can tell you, the leadership that is in... No, hear what I'm telling you, and I'm misunderstanding me. Don't mix up things. I can't speak for corruption. I'm not the Auditor General. I can't speak for them things. And when the issues arise, like the Nigel Darmlalis, we look at it and it's dealt with. When issues arise, it has to be dealt with. Nobody's perfect. It's not the gods running this country. It's a set of Guyanese that were voted for by the majority of Guyanese, and they run the country. Most of them PPP. You understand? So I'm speaking from the human context. I am telling you, no matter who you are, whether you're a black PNC, an Amerindian with LJP, whatever you is, and your affiliation to political party, if you reach out to this administration with a plan, this is what you want to do, you will go somewhere. Just reach out. Don't worry the politics. Just reach out and move forward. You can't be an entrepreneur and playing politics. You understand? That's what I want to give you. This country has leadership second to none. The opposition have to act in a manner rightfully so, due respect to them. For try to tear down or make the other look bad, for make themselves look good. Because the thing is, why the opposition continue to have to tear down or make somebody look bad. And you have these instances in your life. How opposition supporters don't know about these things. You never had nobody, well, they got shortcomings, but they try to tear you down. Because they can't come higher than you. We believe it's me problem. We believe it's Guyanese problem me. Who house I is going and take food out of them out? Who I ever going to take money out of their pocket? I have grown to heights that nobody in me just can't go to, so what they got to do? They got to try to pull me down. You understand what's the problem? You have these things in your family. You might get mother try to hold you down. You might get your father try to hold you down. And that is what's going on. I'm telling you, I'm behind the scenes and I'm looking. And I'm saying you can't get better leadership than this at this time. I can't speak for nothing else. I am not the person dealing with the money and the accountability. I can't speak for nothing else. If when you're going to hire somebody, and when you read the resume, this body is the best body with the financing, this and that, but they've been in a shooting incident, or they've been in an accident, and do some time in jail, you watch it though, in its context, and you say, here is financing I'm interested in. It is expected that people in power act in a certain manner. Alright, we see that when the time comes and the issues arise, we deal with them. I'm telling you at this time, the opposition's game is that the president and the government has outperformed them. Imagine in 1 year they've outperformed them for 5 years. For 5 years, the PNC did not do what the PPP do in 1 year. So how do you make up for it? By trying to pull them down. Now you trying to tell me they ain't got some corrupt with all this money you was spending. They ain't got some corruption, something going on. I got it back at Diamond, a contractor laying pipe without putting the sand. Them in PNC in Cedar. Man without shot, who there with who? Who there with who, man? That becomes the opposition business and opposition supporters business. When they got bigger issues with money, we need accountability. We need to watch where things going, how it's spending, what's going on. Yeah, wake up. The opposition ain't got nothing, never had nothing, and never ain't gonna got nothing. You have a president, and I've seen it many times, but this time it fresh in my mind. I said, let's talk about it, let's tell you. Capitalize on the opportunities that exist. They are many and varying. Wake up, Guyanese. Wake up. This game with the opposition playing is to pull down people who have outperformed them. Simple. Take heed of my pleas to you. Tomorrow we continue. Take care, guys.